Hello everyone. This video presents a notable event that happened on each day from the past week in history. On April 27, 1945, Finnish soldiers were photographed proudly raising the Finnish war flag on top of a concrete cairn where the borders of Finland, Norway, and Sweden meet. A famous photograph, the shot is often called "raising the flag on the three-country cairn." An opportunistic bully, the USSR tried to capitalize on the chaos of World War II to expand their own borders, in Poland, the Far East, and in Finland. From 1939 to 1940, the Finns fought the Soviets in the Winter War, and again in the Continuation War of 1941 to 1944. During the Continuation War, the Finns were compelled by the situation to ally themselves with Germany against the Soviets. In 1944, the Finns then fought the Germans in the Lapland War. The desperate battles for Finnish independence and territory cost 97,000 Finns their lives out of a population of only 3.7 million. On April 28, 1973, Pink Floyd's album The Dark Side of the Moon made it to the top of the Billboard charts and went on to spend a record-breaking run of 741 weeks on the charts. Still one of the biggest-selling albums of all time, The Dark Side of the Moon deserves serious consideration as the greatest record album of all time. Other contenders for that accolade include Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles, Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues, Abbey Road by the Beatles, Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, Chronicle by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Greatest Hits by the Eagles, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, and Thriller by Michael Jackson. Our personal preference bias is obviously at play in our list, which is why we encourage you to tell us your own opinion and not necessarily rely on our suggestions. Obviously, other genres of music that we might not be familiar with deserve consideration. What is your choice as the greatest album? On April 29, 1967, heavyweight boxing champ Muhammad Ali was stripped of his crown when he refused induction into the U.S. military. He later was vindicated and regained his championship belt in the ring, and today we look at some sports champions that were stripped of their honors. One of the saddest and most famous cases was Olympic champ Jim Thorpe, stripped of his gold medals won at the 1912 Olympics in the decathlon and pentathlon because he had once played semi-pro baseball. In 1982, his honors were posthumously returned. Performance-enhancing drugs have cost many athletes a chance for induction in their respective Hall of Fame or even their titles, including cyclist Lance Armstrong, winner of 7 consecutive Tour de France bicycle races, and several great baseball players currently denied entry into the Hall of Fame due to PED use. All-time hits leader Pete Rose is denied HOF status due to gambling. What athlete would you add to this list? On April 30, 2008, Russian scientists confirmed that the skeletal remains found near the city of Yekaterinburg, formerly known as Sverdlovsk, in the Ural district of Russia, were indeed the remains of Alexei Nikolaevich and Anastasia Nikolaevna, the son and daughter of the last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, and his wife, Tsarina Alexandra Feodorovna. Nicholas II was forced to abdicate in 1917 due to ongoing political unrest and the disastrous conduct of World War I. The Tsar and Tsarina were executed in 1918, along with their 4 daughters and son Alexei, the heir to the throne. Russian revolutionaries took no chances on leaving any of the royal family alive to reclaim the throne, and ever since the executions, rumors and conspiracy theories persisted about the alleged survival of Anastasia and/or Alexei. Imposters claiming to be Anastasia have been debunked, but belief persisted even beyond the 2008 confirmation of her death. Was Russia better off under the Tsar? On May 1, 1978, Japanese adventurer Naomi Uemura made history as the first person to reach the North Pole all alone. Using a dog sled, Uemura barely made the 57-day trek alive, as he had been raided by a polar bear that ate much of his provisions. An intrepid adventurer, Uemura shot the bear dead when it returned the next day. Uemura was also the first person to raft the Amazon River alone, and the first to make a solo ascent of Denali in 1970. Always looking to best his own efforts, he disappeared during a solo attempt on Denali during the winter in 1984 at the age of 43. Uemura had made other endurance runs by dog sled across Greenland and from Greenland to Alaska, and had planned someday to do the same across Antarctica. Uemura joins fellow solo pioneers such as Charles Lindbergh, Wiley Post, and Joshua Slocum in the pantheon of great adventurers. Who is the greatest real-life adventurer? On May 2, 1982, Britain's nuclear submarine HMS Conqueror fired torpedoes at the Argentine Navy's World War II-era cruiser ARA General Belgrano, rapidly sinking the big ship and killing 323 of her crew of 1,095. General Belgrano was 608 feet long and 62 feet wide, with a displacement of over 12,000 tons. Armed with 15 6-inch guns and 8 5-inch guns, she was one of the biggest and baddest warships in any Third World Navy. General Belgrano was the only ship sunk by a nuclear submarine and the largest ship sunk by a sub since World War II. Other notable feats of combat prowess by submarines include H.L. Hunley becoming the first sub to sink a ship in 1864, the USS Housatonic, and the sinking of the battleship HMS Royal Oak in Scapa Flow in 1939 by German sub U-47. What is the greatest submarine attack in history? On May 3, 2023, a 13-year-old Serbian schoolboy opened fire at an elementary school in Belgrade, Serbia, killing 9 students and a security guard. An additional 6 people were wounded. Incredibly, due to Serbian law, the shooter was not criminally prosecuted due to his age. The teenage shooter used his father's legally owned pistols in the event, firing 57 shots during the attack. Although not charged criminally, the shooter did wind up under psychiatric care. His parents, in a scenario eerily similar to a recent case in the U.S., found themselves in legal trouble, charged with crimes against public safety and child neglect. The guns were apparently under lock by electronic means, although the shooter cracked the code to access the pistols. Serbians narrowly avoided another school shooting tragedy in 2019 when a shooter fired 2 shots into a school ceiling but was overpowered before he could shoot any persons. What age is old enough to be charged with a crime? As a question for my students and subscribers, which event from this past week in history would you most like to learn more about? Please let me know in the comment section below this video. If you liked this video and would like to receive notification of new videos, please feel welcome to subscribe to History and Headlines and become one of our patrons. Your viewership is much appreciated. For image, audio, and other credits and attributions for components of the individual videos in this compilation, please see the descriptions of their respective videos, which are linked to in this video's description.